Okay, so we're going to set a very, very small little black opal into a ring. Very, very delicate little job. Let's have a look and see how it's done. So this is the little setting, and look at this little tiny little gem. We've got to get into that setting and make it all nice and secure and cut it to fit. So I better get my apron on, ready to go. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is really make sure we've got a nice clean, excuse me, nice clean setting. Got to get in there, make sure there's no glue residue or anything in there that's going to get in the way. So the worst thing you can do is try and set an opal and then discover that you've got glue in there that's been causing you to cut the opal smaller than it should be cut. That's an absolute disaster, and I must say I have made that mistake, so hopefully we learn by our mistakes. It's looking pretty clean. Next I'm going to just get in there and just give it a good clean out with the Dremel. And just give that a little bit of a polish. Looking fabulous. Just going to need a bit more of a polish before I throw it in the ultrasonic. I have to do all the polishing before trying to set it. I have to set it clean as much as possible. It's just a personal preference. It's looking pretty good. Just pop it in the ultrasonic for 10 minutes and get our opal on the dopstick. Okay, so while that ring is just going through the ultrasonic, let's get my flame going. A little bit dangerous to be pouring out on my bench, but it gets the thing going. So there's the top of the gem, beautiful little black opal. Get my dopstick ring. And a nice fine dopstick for this very small opal. So I'll give it a nice tapered end. Very, very small, so I'm going to want a really good connection with this. So I'm going to do this really well so it doesn't come flying off. Just heat the opal up very, very slightly. 3 seconds should be enough. Now I just want to get the tip of the wax really ready. So I'm really going to have to be able to get around that that opal. I'm really going to have to be able to maneuver around that opal to get the very small shape and not have that wax hindering me. Okay, nice little dot. Woohoo, ready to go. So we'll just set that into the ring now and see if we can cut it to fit. Okay. A very small trim either side. Break my dot stick off so I can really get in. I might start with this one. Tiny little gem. And very, very close. And it's come off. So I have to reset that on the dot. And just looking at this ring setting, I'm just going to have to just make sure that that cavity is nice and clean, or this opal's not going to survive in there. So that's the beginning of the setting. Very, very, very small gem to go in the center, but nice red on black. Nice bit of fire. So let's put it back on the dot stick and have another go. Dopping, dopping, dopping. Now, if anyone knows the secret, or a secret, to getting a little bit of wax on a gem so that that wax does not pop off. Now, I'm not talking about dopping so that you just cover the whole thing in wax. I mean, that's doable. But anyone got any tips on how to minute dot gems? I would love to hear any tips and tricks, because I find it very tricky sometimes to keep an opal on the dot stick, especially when you're not completely encasing it in wax. What I mean is this is only being held on by the surface touching there. It's a very, very fine, light touch. So anyone got any tips and tricks on how to make that really work? I'd love to hear it. Okay, there we go. We're gonna get that into that setting. Slow and steady wins the race with this type of opal cutting. The only way to go is nice and slow. pass at a time. It's sitting in there, but now we've got to get it sitting deep into the setting. That's the trick. So just a little bit more. And there we go. Beautiful. Look at that. Perfection. Very happy with that result. So when you set the gem in, it pops off very, very easily, but I'll use glue tack to get that back out and then give it one more polish and then set. Woohoo! Happy days. Looking really good. Beautiful true north in this lovely compass. Red fire. It's got some really good red fire in it, if you can see it. Beautiful little black opal. Okay, so very gently strip out our little opal. I'm just going to give our setting one more polish and then glue it in. Oops, hey, throwing the ring around. Don't want to do that. Alright. Foam block ready. Just get a nice sharp bit of cotton wool just to make sure it's nice and dry in there. Alrighty. Let's get our trusty post-it note out. Sure, just a couple of seconds of flame just to warm it up. Get ready for gluing. Make sure every bit of moisture's gone. Ready to set. I'm going to get a bit of overflow with the glue in this because it's such a small gem. I want every tiny little skerrick of this setting to be filled with glue, so there will be intentional overflow, and that's just because you get one shot setting it. I like to use a little bit of glue tack on the end of a stick to move my gems around. You can use a pair of pliers as well, or tweezers. I like to just get that excess glue pouring out over the top. Because it is a small gem, if it's a large gem you don't really need that, but I want everything covered, and I'll just lift that excess off with my acetone based towel, and I've got a beautiful little setting in there with that lovely, amazing little setting in a very cool ring. And there's that red, and looks amazing. So we'll let that dry. Looking really, really awesome. And that's how you set a tiny little gem to a ring. Look at that fire. Isn't that beautiful? Woohoo. That's just elevated this ring to the next level, I think. Woohoo. So that's how you get the little tiniest gems into a very shiny setting. I can get rid of all this gear now.